So we'll see the concept called as how to load the customers by using FBDI template or say spreadsheet. So as a part of data conversions, we have to load the customer's data in tables. Whatever the process we followed to load the suppliers and open transaction, same process we can follow. So here we can go and download this template directly from instance also. They're given very much simplified template within the instance. So first we'll download and we'll provide the data. We'll convert that template into file. The same we can upload it in instance to create the customer records. Go to instance. Receivables. Go to billing task. Go to task pan. Under customers, we have a task called as upload customers from spreadsheet. Click on this task and download the template. Download customer spreadsheet template. Open the same. Now, just click on enable editing. When you look at instructions, if you find the tab called as show extensible attributes, always click on it. It will enable the tab sheets within any sheet, hidden columns. Okay, always click on show extensible attributes. First you click on show extensible attributes if the tab is applicable for any template. Now go to customer sheet. Whatever you can see in this gray color, these all are extensible, additional. Those also getting displayed. Now we could see multiple sample records. Remove all the sample records except one. For reference, you may use one. Now, so we'll provide the data. To take the reference, better we can go to instance so that we can copy the required information. Go to our existing customer. Fine. Now we'll use this customer for reference, any address, or else we can use different address and reference it as set also. We'll see. Source system. From which system you are bringing this customer's data, the source system you provide here, and provide customer number. If you remember, when you create the customer as per system through manual process, system can generate this customer number. But if it is a spreadsheet, we have to provide it as a mandatory. So I'm giving the number as alt. And customer name. Customer name I'm giving as X. Alt I can say customer. I'm just adding prefix as X for this customer. And the taxpayer number and optional you can remove. So, account number. If you are creating the customer within the system, the account number also system will generate. Account number also system will generate. Even site number also system will generate. If it is a spreadsheet, we have to provide one number for account number and source reference, account source reference. Now, when we are bringing this customer information from other system, in other system, there could be some account number for the same customer. It could be same or different. If you want to capture, you can capture or else remove that. It's optional. Account description also optional. If you want to use, you can use the customer name as account description. Here you can see account description, we didn't provide anything. System created account, under account site we created. Account description is optional. If you want to provide, you can use the customer name as account description. We are not providing. Okay. The account type also not mandatory. And establishment date. Okay. So you can keep the same date or else you can change to current date. So when we are creating the customer, from which date we want to use this customer to record the transaction. It could be current date or past date, so that you can specify. If you place the cursor on this customer, you could see the date format is year, month, and date. Okay, year, month, and date. So here, say month, Feb 02, date 16, year 24. Now just check here whether the same format we are following. Year, month, and date matching. Customer class. Okay, customer class is not mandatory. Leave it. And customer profile class, yes, system can take the default and you can override with whatever the profile class you created. You just click on account number and go to profile history. From here you may copy, or else system will take default that you can accept. So this is the customer profile class. Site number. In case of manual process of customer, site can be created by system, site number, but here in the spreadsheet, we have to input site name optional. If you want to give site name, you can provide here when you create site. Here we are providing the site name. So if you want to give site name, you can provide. I'm just giving site name as X site. And the account address set. If you look at customer, we given account address set as a enterprise. Same. Use here. Okay. Yeah. Use whatever the reference data set you want for customer level mapping. The same should be mapped at BU level also for an account customer account site. So location source reference. When you are bringing this data from other system, so for this location information, okay, what are the reference number is available in that system? If available, you provide it, or else since it is a mandatory, you can fill any dummy number also. So this data, what we are filling, reality client IT team will take care of, because they are responsible to extract and give the data to us. If they are using, say, Microsoft Dynamics as their current system, From that system, they'll extract all these details and they'll give us. We'll share the template and we'll just talk about what data, what field, what we're expecting. According, they have to extract. If they don't have any reference field or reference number for location, they can fill some dummy value. And address line one. So address line one. So field is mandatory here. Just you can provide. If you look at the system, okay, this is the field. As per template, it's given as a mandatory, but as per system, it is not mandatory. So anyway, you provide X address. All these details, billing, floor, and etc. We don't need. Scroll little right and provide the CD state, etc. So those details, if these details are valid, you can accept, or else better you can take the details from the instance. So with the similar details, we want to create address for this customer also, or else for our data preparation, you can select different postal code, that relevant data you can provide. City, state, postal code, county, and country is US. Check other columns. So this zone and all we don't need. And the language you can keep or you can remove. And account address purpose. Okay. Site purpose source reference. Okay. This is as per the current system what you are using. Since field is mandatory, you may not get something from your the client current system. If you get some reference number, okay, or else you can fill any one of the number. And when you create address in the system, we'll set the purpose of address purpose. The same purpose you set here, ship to or bill to. Bill to is mandatory you set. If you want to set ship to also, you can take the same here. And here you set as a ship to also. Proceed. Okay. So set as a primary or not. This is how you can, if you want to have a both, you can add one more site purpose source reference. This is how you can just manage here. Okay. Otherwise not required. Now. So payment method and all, it's not mandatory for customer to specify. If you want to set some method, you can set, otherwise not required. So check other columns also. We don't have anything. These accounts and all like code combinations anyway, you don't need to provide, not required. This way. So how we are creating the customer, accordingly we are providing the data. Now, so whatever the process we followed to create the customer in the system through manual process, by following the same details, we provided data within the sheet. The rest of sheets optional. If you want to maintain the customer contact details you can maintain here. Okay, the system also. So here, if you go to communications, okay, you can maintain the site contacts information, edit contacts. Who is the contact person from this customer? You can fill. And other thing is reference accounts. Okay, reference accounts, nothing but we assign the specific bank account, the specific customer site to business unit, but not mandatory. If you go to site number, okay, go to site details, you have ship bill to and ship to. Ship to you cannot assign, ship to you no need to assign to BU. Bill to also you no need to assign. If you want to assign, you can assign. Select bill to and click on create and select your business unit. Alt I and C. Now these accounts will be filled. In the bank auto accounting rule, you may specify take so and so account code combination or specific segment value from the customer side. Auto accounting rule, we have a different sources, transaction type, memo line, constant, or customer side. Here you can, for bill to site, you can assign bill to site, you can assign to BU, and accordingly you can set the accounts. You may derive these accounts by using the auto accounting rule. For that reason, you may set, but it is not mandatory. Why it is not mandatory? You no need to assign site to business unit. Why? Already we are assigning the site to business unit with the reference set asset. This reference set asset we are assigning to specific BU for the reference set object called as customer account site. That's how we can map. Even if you are mapping, when you create accounting for the transaction with this customer, with any transaction type, if you want to derive the account code combination, say account, the revenue account need to be derived from the customer side of the transaction. So then auto accounting rule you set as a take from the customer side. In that case, we have to maintain these accounts. If you want to maintain, you have to assign this site to this business unit so that system will derive the accounts from here when you create the transaction. Otherwise, not required. Okay. You want to keep it, keep, otherwise delete. Not required. So that's how these details you have to provide. Those accounts related information you have to provide. Receivables account, revenue account. Okay, this is the revenue, this is the receivables tax, or what are the accounts we have over there, those you can fill here. So that's how this information can be useful. Again, it is not mandatory. Imagine this. And customer bank accounts. Going forward, we'll see how to create the customer bank accounts. We have a concept which we are going to test to today or tomorrow. So there you have to, under payment details, you can maintain customer bank account details. Okay, if you are getting the payment from the customer bank account details you have to maintain when that those points will discuss. Okay, so if you provide those bank account details here, that can be loaded to system. Anyway, we'll see how to create through manual process. If you want to load by using template, input the same data and you can load it. So that's how it will work. Right. So we prepared the data in this template. Under instruction, first you have to click on show extensible attributes. Then just say, just under customers, you provide the basic data which is required to create the customer definition. Under rest of tabs or sheets, whatever the data, it's completely optional. If you want to capture something, you can capture, otherwise not mandatory. Now go back to the instruction sheet and generate the CSV file. Click on CSV file. So it will generate the file. We are just using Alt INC. You just save that file in the same folder. Alt INC. What is the file name? Yeah, upload customers. Save it. CSV and zip file have been created. Okay. Now the same file we have to load into the instance. The same file we have to load into the instance. So go back to the instance to the same page from where we downloaded template, go to the same page. Cancel this page, click on done, and we are in the billing work area. Go to task pan and go to upload customers from spreadsheet task. Click on upload customers from spreadsheet. Now click on upload customers from spreadsheet. From here we downloaded, from here we are going to upload. Provide batch name for identification. You may give the batch name as alt inc. Choose the file. The file you have at desktop in the respective folder, alt inc ri. In this folder, we placed our file. The file name is AR upload customers. Submit. So within this environment, what are the files already submitted, you can see. Just for your information purpose, you can notice. So within this file, okay, 7 records are available, total records. And how many records are loaded successfully? 7 loaded. Unsuccessful records are 0. So within this request, somebody submitted file. Within that, total 7 records are there. Successful records are 0 and unsuccessful records are 7. Think the same file somebody submitted again. Maybe it's already available, it is not true. And in this submission, you can see total 2 records are there. 1 record loaded successfully, 1 record unsuccessful. If you click on this unsuccessful, it will show the reason also. What's wrong with that record? That's how here you can find the exceptions also or status of that request. Now, don't worry about other records. Our batch name is alt inc filter out. So it is running. You may have 1 record or multiple records. It will take minimum 5 to 10 minutes time minimum. Even if you have single record also, it will take time. Now, see if you are clicking on refresh, because it has to follow the process. What are the process we follow to create the customer? So it takes a few minutes time. Okay, here we'll take 5 minutes break. I'll just pause the recording. We'll wait for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, we'll check the status. Based on the status, we'll take the next action. Fine. We waited more than 5 minutes. So refresh. Now you see the status as all records successfully uploaded. The count also you can see. Total records 1 and successful records also 1. Unsuccessful record 0. This is how you'll get the stat. Now we can go and verify our customer information, the system, which we loaded through the spreadsheet.
Lakshman, this is same like FBDI process, like it will load interface file to import and all those schedule process will run.
No. It is a smart way of loading. If you want to use FBDI, you can use FBDI also. You can go to OER and you can download. Instead of going through that process, they give in the a simple option. Directly it will be loaded.
Okay, got it.
Direct one go. Means in case of FBDI, what we are doing, generate the file, place in the UCM. Otherwise, at least you place in the interface tables, right? We have to run the different programs. These all can be bypassed with one click. You can load.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Which is preferred way of loading generally, Lakshman? FBDI or the spreadsheet?
Anyone you can use. See, it's ultimately like the customer data you want to load. If you want to put lot of many details, your customer level, here also you can capture more or less all the data. But if you want to capture very detailed information, use FBDI, or else you can use this template.
Okay, Lakshman, got it. Thank you.
We use both. We use both. When we are doing implementation, we use this or we use that. Anyone you can use.
Sir, is it called ADFDI then?
No, it's not ADFDA. This is spread. Normal, it's ADFDA is different, right? ADFDA always will connect to instance.
Instance.
It is not connected, right? It is offline sheet. We download.
Right.
Yeah. And offline we enter the data. It is same as just FBDA only. FBDA template only. But this is another version of template they given. within the
Mhm.
instance itself. Okay.
So here those
Lakshman, we
things are,
started talking. Sorry, Richa, please come.
so here we cannot do that. Load interface, generate CSV, not required, just
Not
upload
required.
in.
Direct,
Okay.
direct route.
Okay. And sir, this account number, what we are putting, like customer number, that is the registry ID in front end. So
Hmm.
here we are putting it manually, but when we create a system, directly customer in system,
Yes.
how is it, from which setup is it derived?
No. See that there is no setup that comes from the TCA. Okay. Trading community. Please go on mute. Somebody. Yeah. So TCA, trading community org structure. So whatever you create, you may create supplier or customer or any party that will be stored in the TCA. That is the identification number for this customer from the TCA. That is auto-generated number. Or else if it is a spreadsheet, this is how you have to input. This number will be stored in the system as a TCA number, TCA register ID. That's all. Trading community org structure. It could be supplier, customer, bank, or legal entity. All these details need to be stored in the TCA. If anything is stored in the TCA, that can be shared across other applications also.
Okay. Okay. So if we are doing it manually, we don't have any control on customer number, account number, and site number.
Yes. System will auto generate. If it is a spreadsheet, you have an option to choose provide.
Okay. And sir, in the site purpose source reference, like if there is a field, right? So why are we entering the same value if the purpose is different? It should be different, no?
Source purpose, which field?
Source reference, site purpose, source reference, the right, where we are entering the purposes, build to, ship to.
Bill to ship to site.
To the right, in the same
Yeah.
sheet.
Got it. See that why we are entering, because same address we are telling to the system. Bill to ship to belongs to same address we are trying to tell to the system. That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
See, this is the reference number, which is identification number for this address, right? For this address. Okay. This is identification number.
Okay.
For your this is the identification number for this address for the purpose of bill to. For ship to, which is the address?
Same address.
Same address. If
Okay.
you view this,
Okay.
what it will understand? It will understand same address for this. Same.
Okay. I got confused with the name. So, okay. Understood, sir.
Okay, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Fine. Now we'll go and check in the system. First, we'll check. Then if you have any questions, we'll discuss. We'll check first. Then we'll go ahead with the discussions. If you have questions, go to manage customers. The name what we given is X Alt INC. Check. Here is the X Alt INC. So the registry ID we given Alt 123. The same you could see. Alt 1 2 3 4 5 6. And account number we given all fives. Site number we given all fours. The same. So that's how we are able to load the customers data with this spreadsheet. This is what we have to understand. For a customer profile class also, if you click on account number, you could see the same profile class, whatever we given in the template. So this is what we have to understand. Yeah, now you can go ahead with your question if you have.
Yeah, Lakshmi, so when we started the class today and we were looking at that the spreadsheet that we follow for our tasks, so we said that we are now starting upon the file-based data import process, and then we started looking onto this process. And now just few minutes back, you said this is not FBDI. So I'm confused a bit now. So what is this process called now? This is not FBDI.
Loading customers through spreadsheet.
Okay, and then we are going to look into the FBDI afterwards?
So not required. You can use this because alternative Oracle given. You use that template or this template. If you want to use FPDA, go and download from Oracle OER. Use this. Ideally, we use this template for customer load. It's very much simplified and where you can capture required information.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how it is. Fine. Now, another point is now we'll load the customers. We'll just load the invoices or transactions by using another template called as FBDI template. We call as AutoInvoices and receivables. Since we are loading the transaction through template, you can call as AutoInvoices. So this template is not available in instance. Directly you have to download from Oracle OER itself. Now we'll go to Oracle OER to download. Before that, let's talk about it. It is not straightforward. We have to complete few setups to execute this, otherwise it doesn't work. What setups and why we have to do? We'll see that. So when you talk about loading the transactions data, okay, open transaction means unpaid transactions we can load by using this template. Okay, we are calling as auto invoice, that's the name they are giving, but reality that is simply you can say receivables transactions or say receivables unpaid transactions. To load the transaction in the system, what are the additional setups we have to perform? Okay, what are the additional setups we have to perform? So far we completed auto accounting rules for very limited accounts. But when we are going to load this auto invoice, the accounts may require, may not require, but system will have a validation whether all the accounts auto accounting rule is configured or not. So that is the reason we have to just set up auto accounting rule for all the accounts. Say configure auto accounting rules for all transaction types. Now we are not going to create the transactions through manual process. We are going to load, means we are going to import. We are going to import. So for that, we have to maintain transaction source where the transaction source type is imported. Okay, the transaction source is imported. Now, if you remember, if you recall how we loaded invoices in the AP, is there any mapping we did between the invoice header information and invoice lines information? Anyone, do you remember?
Yes.
Yeah, what is the mapping?
There is the number, invoice number.
Invoice number is invoice number.
There is a common number reference.
Yes. Here, to make the system understand which line is belongs to which invoice header, we have one attribute called as invoice ID, right? This ID. Now this ID is 100. If you go to lines, how many lines I am entering with 100? These all lines will be created within that invoice. That means these many invoice lines for that invoice. These all lines will belongs to same ID. So these lines belongs to, this 10 lines belongs to same invoice. Which invoice? This invoice ID which has 100 as per invoice number. So this is the, whatever the number you enter, this is the number. That's how we are mapping. So whatever the information you are entering in the AP invoice interface, this sheet and the line sheet, how you are mapping, which line is belongs to which invoice, that you can map with invoice ID. Your invoice ID is 200. So this is the invoice header information. Where is the line information with the same 200 ID? What are the lines you create? This all belongs to that only. So this all. Yeah. So these records are belongs to that invoice. So that's how we have to specify, we have to do the mapping. Oracle is giving the mapping, header information and line information mapping with the attribute called as invoice ID. Very good. But in case of receivables, Oracle is not giving anything. Oracle is not providing anything. So that we have to build the logic that we can set up in the system by using the DFF, descriptive flex field. Okay. So what purpose we need that DFF, descriptive flex field? Descriptive flex field means to capture the additional information. We are using accounting key flex field, KFF, to capture the mandatory information. Now here we are going to use the DFF, descriptive flex field, so to capture the additional information. What is the additional information here? Transaction line information. We have to map which transaction line is belongs to which transaction header. For that, we have to do the setup in the system, which we call as line transaction descriptive flex field. Say, create line transaction descriptive flex field. Okay, create line transaction descriptive flex field. So that's what we have to understand. So payables, Oracle is giving direct option to map between header and the lines. The line information will go to distributions. So in case of receivables, Oracle is not giving, that we have to do. First we'll complete these setups, then we'll go through that FBDI template. Process is same, standard process. Download, provide, fill the data, create the files, place the files in UCM, but not mandatory. Directly you can populate the data into interface tables, import into receivables. Yeah, we'll go one by one. So first we have to complete auto accounting configuration for all the account types. Go to our environment, go to auto accounting rules, manage auto accounting rules. For our business unit, we created only 4 roles. Alt INC. For rest of types also we have to create. For 4 types only we created, which are primary. For rest you have to create. Click on create. Select RBU. Select one by one. Auto invoice, just clearing account. Provide constant values, or if you want to derive from any source, you can derive. Okay, if you provide site for this account, site level, what are the values available for cost center, it will take. That's it. Let's make it as a constant. So you create another, pick one by one, just provide values. You can provide random, you don't need to search, or else you search with the same account type and provide relevant account, or else just you can pick any random value also to complete it. But primarily make sure you are using the same balance and segment value for this business unit. That is a key point. Rest you can choose any value for your testing. When you are setting up your client, you just look for the account with the same account type and create another. Same balance and segment, rest you can fill. will take 5 more minutes. Say create another. Create another. Receivables already we configured. The other one you can select. So create another. So in case of tax, if you look at the reference, the source, you will have a one more value as a taxes. Taxes means it will take the tax account from tax configuration, which we do in the Fusion tax application. We'll see that once we done all this, we'll work on tax also. So the tax account, you can provide constant here, or else in the Fusion tax, whatever the account you provide, that account it should take. That's how you can set the derivation from that source also. Yeah. Provide values, provide default. So create another. So we have created for unbilled receivables and earned revenue, and one more is left, just you can add it. Click on done. So we created auto accounting rule for all, say save and close. The system has a validation, so you should complete even those you don't need, not required. Now make sure you have a transaction source with imported. Okay, let's go to transactions. So we have created transaction source for every transaction to generate the numbering. But now we need transaction source with imported. But whatever we created, those are manual. So one imported source we require. We'll go to transaction sources and we'll check. Okay, fine. Well, let's go. So here, select type as imported. Click on search. You can see many transaction sources in this environment which are imported. Okay, but what Oracle is giving is receivables import. This you can use. Just click on receivables import. Okay, receivables import. So if you want to tag your transaction type here, you can tag, or else keep your the same invoice transaction type. That would work. Okay, or else you can change. Anything is fine. You can say alt INC invoice, or keep invoice which is there. This you just make a note. Okay, you should make a note. Fine. This just make a note. Fine. So this is the source name.
Lakshman,
In the
if we
source,
have a
yeah,
multiple
please.
transaction types, how we can manage?
No. Multiple transaction types in the sense when we are going to import anything, you can import either invoice or credit memo. Okay.
Yeah, credit memo only. Like I have based on the business scenario, I have created multiple
Yeah, you
transaction
can
types for
assign
invoice and
credit memo source here. That's all. Okay, that you don't deal separately. That should be associated with any one of invoice. You import invoices under credit memos. If you are importing credit memo, add that credit memo source here.
okay. The invoice type you selected, right? Standard transaction type as alt INC invoice. I have one more transaction type. How do we manage?
Okay, in that case, what you can do is you create one more transaction source similar to this. In that, you can map it.
Okay.
Yeah, since you need multiple transaction types to manage that process, create one more. So there you may just point here. You may give some identification within the name. Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this is the one you can use. This is a kind of Oracle is providing the same you can use. And you, if you notice here, type is imported. Okay. Just you can change, even if you don't change, invoice would be there. That invoice also will support, but this is our own transaction type which we created. Better you can change it. So save and close. So this is how just we need one transaction source where the source type is imported.
Sir, one question.
Yeah.
We in this setup we are giving a grouping rule as default. I mean, what does it mean? That what we are trying to do?
No, ideally, this grouping rule here it is not okay. When you are importing invoices from the order management, that will work. Okay, here there is nothing. Just what it will do is, so when you are importing the data into receivables based on the sales order and all, it will see like how many how that the sales order customer, how many customers are there for each customer, how many sales orders are there. Like again, the sales orders and what criteria based on ship to location or bill to location with what criteria those need to be grouped into one invoice or multiple invoices it will use. Since type is imported, we are using here, but ideally here it is not applicable. Okay. Whatever you enter, that only it will create as a transaction. This would be useful when you are bringing the data from other
Order
systems.
management.
Yep. Here,
Okay.
what you enter, that only will be grouped as it is. We will provide specific grouping based on the line transaction descriptive flex field. Here, that is
The
not.
grouping thing will not matter if we have given something else in line transaction descriptive flexible.
Yes, so line transaction
Okay.
transaction flex field will take care of how you want to group accordingly do the mapping. If that is come in the play, if you are importing the data from order management or any third party system.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we'll see how to create line transaction descriptive flex field, which will help us to do the mapping between transaction header and line information or transaction header line and the distribution information of the transaction. We'll see that. Go to the environment and search for receivables descriptive flex fields. Manage receivables descriptive flex fields. Search for line transaction descriptive flex field. Here is the line transactions descriptive flex field. Now select this record, click on edit. Now click on manage contests and click on create. Give the name, say AutoInvoice underscore AutoInvoice. Okay. This name is required for us and it will take. Okay, what are the name you are giving for this DFF? This is a DFF structure name you can take. This you can make a note. So this we have to provide in the template, FBDI template, and save it. And within this, let's create one segment for mapping purpose. In case of invoice template, we have one attribute called as invoice ID. Here, let's create transaction ID. Click on create. What attribute you need? Transaction ID. And select data type, character, and click on create value set. Value set name is AutoInvoice transaction ID. Select module as a receivables. Select receivables. Validation type, same process you follow like whatever you use independent. Value data type is character, subtype is text, length. We are going to enter text within the transaction ID. What is the maximum length? Okay, maybe length, maybe max you want to give 20 characters. Okay, the mapping number could be max 20. So it could be less than, but give 20. It will suit, like even long number also it will support. So save and close. So value set got selected here. Okay, prompt will be displayed as a transaction ID. Display type is list of values, or else you can say, so kind of text area or text box, anything. You can select how that, keep list of values till it will support dynamic text entry during the load process. So you create like this, done, and say save and close. Just we should know this line transaction descriptive flex field name only. Okay, only one segment we have, and say save and close. Again click on save and close. Again click on save and close. Now finally deploy it. Deployment status is edited for this line transaction descriptive flex field. Deploy it. Now, so we are ready with the required configuration, which will support when you load the open transactions data into receivables. I will go and download the sheet. Okay, we'll go and download the sheet from Oracle OER. But this sheet is not available within the instance environment like customers. So let's download. Oracle OER. Or directly you can search also customer template and all, AutoInvoice template and all. Go to Oracle Enterprise Repository for Oracle Fusion Applications keyword or link. Click on Cloud Applications. Select Financials. Go to All Books. and go to templates under implementation section. We have file-based data import for financials. Hit HTML hyperlink. So locate receivables. Here is the template. Okay, auto invoice import. Click on auto invoice import. You can see the template link here. Click on the same template link and let's save in the same folder. Alt-INC temp folder, save it. The template name is auto invoice. Here is the template, auto invoice import template. Open this template and click on enable editing so that we can do the required modifications to data. The very first sheet you can see instructions and the CSV generation. Here we no need to enable, no hidden columns as per this template. So move to auto interface lines all sheet. Okay, auto interface lines all sheet. This is one of the interface table name within the auto invoice interface. Now, so remove all the sample records except one. One you can use for reference. Okay. The first column. So business unit identifier not required. The business unit specification is not required. Identifier is not required. Directly you can give the name. Identifier is nothing but business unit ID. Okay. Not required. Directly you can give the name. So provide our BU name. The transactions, whatever you want to load into receivables belongs to which BU. Better we'll go to the instance and we'll copy the data so that there won't be any challenges and mismatch. So quickly navigate to transaction creation page. From there, everything you can copy. Billing, task pan, create transaction. Just to pick the data, we are navigating to create transaction. We don't want to create any transaction. The name is Alt-INC US business unit. Input the same. What transaction source we want to use? Already we finalize the source as a receivables import. This is an imported source, not manual. That provide here. Which transaction type, with which transaction type you want to import? Already we given in this, still you provide the same. It's mandatory, provide. Payment terms, I will go with this, just say Alt-INC customer. These are the payment terms you want to use. Copy and paste here. First, that we may paste in the notepad. Those will get formatted. Take it to spreadsheet. So transaction date, better you can copy from the instance to this. Okay, check the format is matching or not as per instance and the template format here. Okay, so this is a data like year, month and date. Year, month and date. Here already you can see sample data format, year, month and date. Yes, here also we given the same. Okay. So these system can copy, system can take here whenever you are creating the transaction, these are required, but ideally it will display the optional, but those are required. So if transaction date is not there, system cannot understand due date need to be calculated from which date. Okay, these all are required. Even you see optional, so you have to provide here. Otherwise, system will take current date by default. And original system bill to customer reference. From which system, okay, you are bringing the data. Okay, bringing the data. So as per that system, what is the reference number for bill to customer? To which customer you are doing the billing? These are not mandatory, optional, really not required. Original system bill to customer address reference will provide as per our current system, as per our receivables will provide. Already we have customers data, accordingly you can put. These all are optional. Original system ship to customer. References we can ignore. So reference ignore, but bill to ship to, that's very important. Original system that not mandatory, and nothing is mandatory, you can ignore. Now these are very important. So bill to customer account number. Okay, bill to customer account number. So duplicate. So go to our customer record, billing task, go to task pan, manage customers, AutoInvoice, customer 1. So here is our customer account number. This number you have to take. Better you can format, take into notepad and go to the spreadsheet. Otherwise some space and all may be copied. Bill to customer account number. We are going to bill to which customer? What is that customer account number? And bill to customer site number. Where is the site number? Here is a site number. So we are going to bill to this customer site. This is site number. Also you can take it to notepad, move to spreadsheet so that the formatted data will. And bill to contact party number, not required. And provide ship to customer account number. Ship to and bill to same customer. Take the same number here. And ship to customer site number. Bill to customer and ship to customer site is same. Okay. So we are not going to have a different sites for ship to one site. Okay, bill to one site. Okay. So ship to customer account number, ship to customer site number. Okay, bill to customer site number, ship to customer site number is same. Bill to customer account number, ship to customer account number same. Means customer is same and site is same for all the purposes. So that's how we have to provide the data from here. Okay, so from here we have to provide. Now if you don't provide these details also, yes, you can just create. And when you are creating the transaction, you see here, when you are creating the transaction, so if you are not providing these details, system cannot capture the customer information. That would be incomplete record. We cannot through that record. So provide all this. So other details, transaction line type. Okay. See, the sheet name is RA transaction line sort. Reality, this sheet is transaction header and line. The transaction header information and line information we are going to provide in the sheet. Only transaction line distribution you provide in the sheet. Okay. Line means header plus line. Okay, we know transaction header and line. Right. So this header information, this line information, we are going to provide in the one sheet. So once you create the transaction header and line, we save it. After saving, if you go to actions, review distributions, that distributions you can provide within the sheet. That's how it is. Fine. So transaction line description you can provide here. When you create transaction, we provide the line description. That information you can say. So just for our information purpose, it is created using FBDI template. FBDI template. Now, currency code is USD. Yes, we are going to create the transaction with USD. Currency conversion type. It's a mandatory, but we are not going to load any transactions other than our functional currency. That is the reason, keep as a user. Okay. Rate type, currency conversion rate type is same currency, ledger currency only you are going to load, keep as a user. That means whatever you enter, same it will be loaded. If you are loading any foreign currency transactions, you change to corporate or whatever you need. And here just the date also. Just you can copy the date from here. You have date. Conversion date. Conversion rate is same. If you have one only, whatever you enter, the same it will take. So line amount say $25,000. Okay, and quantity we are giving as a one. Quantity we are we are giving one. Okay, and okay, fine. Okay, and scroll and the unit price, selling price, you take the same. Copy this 25,000. That means the unit selling price is 25, quantity is 1, and total transaction line amount is 25. So doing all this. And here is the line transaction flexible contest. We created our own, that you have to select. This is the one we created. You select this and provide here. And line transaction flexible segment, first segment, only one segment we created, we given the size as a 20. So this value you are going to use for mapping with the distribution. Okay. So I'm going to give the number as say 11, 22, 33, 44, 55. Okay. So this is the number. So we created only one segment within this line transaction descriptive flex field. Remaining data, remove it. Remove whatever the sample data is available. Check other columns also. So check. Remove the sample data. We don't need it. Just check. Because we are referring the sample record, you can remove all the available columns. If any sample data you may remove. Reality client may add whatever the additional data they want to capture in each and every transaction apart from the basic data what we provide. So just check all the columns for one time so that when we are loading there won't be any challenges. Just check all the columns. Ideally you want to provide any other details. Just cross check. No data inputs available for anything. Of this last column. Okay. Check. Almost there. No sample data. That's how we have to prepare this record. This record is going to create transaction header and transaction line information. Okay. Now we have to create distribution. Okay. Now go to RA interface distribution solve. And we need just two accounts, receivables and revenue. So except two records, rest all you remove. Now provide your BU information. Copy and paste. First say receivables account. And 100% means whatever the amount we have in this transaction header record, the same it will take. As per this record, we have $25,000. The same it will take. Again, we don't need to input here. So 100%. Or else you can remove percentage and you can enter the amounts also. And the line transaction descriptive flex field name, same name. And this distribution is belongs to which transaction header and lines, that you have to map. Same, take the same. So these two records will belongs to one transaction. Other details remove. Set rest of columns, and here you can just provide accounting information optional. What you can do is better just quickly you can fill some data for a test just to pull those accounts. Go to actions, click on edit. Receivables account code combination. Company 1000, department 1000. Okay. Account 13005. 13005. Rest all zeros, 3 segments we have. Yes, this is a one. Check all the columns and one more record. Same BU, copy and paste. So revenue account, same line transaction descriptive flex field. And the same, this line also, this distribution account also belongs to same transaction line. Just you remove. You can copy as it is, you can change the account or else just like that. And revenue account is 40111. And other data just you can remove. So just the sales related information, other details just you can remove, not required. And here also some sample data you can remove. Primarily how to provide the data in these two sheets. The first sheet refers transaction header and line information. Second sheet refers transaction distribution information, distribution accounts, and make sure that whatever the ID you are giving here, the segment one with the line transaction descriptive flex field, that is exactly pointing to the same transaction. What are the ID or number you provided here? here and here both are matching, that the total record, the information system will create as a one transaction. That's how you can differentiate which distributions are belongs to which invoice header and line. So after providing these details, let's create the CSV file. Save in the same folder. Save. Save, okay. Done. Now follow the standard process. Okay, same process, whatever we just followed in case of payables. Okay, so we downloaded and we prepared, we created CSV, not mandatory to load in the UCM, directly populate the data in the interface tables by submitting that master program called as load interface file for import. So you can cancel this just to take the reference data we created this transaction. Go to ESS job page, schedule processes, click on schedule new process. Job name is load interface file for import. Say okay. The process name you can refer from this sheet. The process name is import auto invoice. Say okay. Select data file, upload a new file, choose the file, Alt-IFC. So this is the one, AR auto invoice import. Say okay. Okay, we can notice all the programs succeeded the status without any errors warnings. Now we can submit the same program one more time to import the data from with respect to interface tables to base tables. So submit import auto invoice program. You may refresh this navigation. Say okay. And transaction source. The source you have to use whatever we used here. Receivables import. Okay. Say submit. Refresh. Let's wait, it may take some time. Here we could see import auto invoice program succeeded. It is generating the execution report also. So this program, based on the status, we should not assume system imported. So even nothing is imported also, the program will complete and you have to look into the report. Okay, report will give the actual result, whether imported or just program completed. Go to execution report, click on republish. So you can see selected records are 1, successfully processed 1, rejected 0. Now you can see the same. The amount what we entered is $25,000. Now this record is through. To review from the application, go to billing work area. So manage transactions. So customer name is AutoInvoice customer, and to filter, to select transaction source as receivables import. Open this transaction. So we given description as it is created using FBDI template. The template level we given, the data whatever we provided as this. You could see the transaction source. Within the source level, we given this transaction type. The same system is bringing here. So this is how we can load by using this template. That's all about how we can load the auto invoices, or you can say receivables open transactions. We are left few more topics. Payables, receivables. The rest will close the tomorrow session. Okay, so we'll connect this weekend also, so that we'll be able to complete as much as possible. Okay, please be available tomorrow and after tomorrow also. However, we spent last, I think, Saturday, like in the same we will spend time. So we'll be able to close. At least we planned with postponing, like we planned 3 months, we are running in the 4th month. At least let's try to complete as soon as possible. Okay. So we're done for today. If you have any questions, please stay back, we'll discuss.